Hi guys, so welcome back to volume 2 part 3. So this is part 3 of volume 2. So I will be stating a situation that occurred leading up to the story of the grown man. So the grown man situation that came with my uncle to our house. So if you had watched volume 2 parts 1 and part 2, you would have a clear understanding of what I'm talking about when I mention the grown man. This story in part 3 that I'll be telling you will give you guys a clear understanding of how and why things was happening the way they did as well. Anyways, let's get into the story. I was still living at this community where I was being bullied by the girls because we were in competition to see who had the best dress to wear to church. So we're back onto that situation. Nonetheless, so these same girls were my friends. And at the time, they lived in the same household because it was a big family house as well. They had their male cousins and their brother that was living in the same household as well. And they were the same age as my brother and one of my cousins that we were living with at the time. So this means that they were older than I was, but not at a huge margin. It was, say, 2 to 3 years older than I was. So we would always play this game called Dolly House. So we would always play Dolly House. Some of you may know what playing Dolly House entails. My brother and cousin would play Dolly House with my female friends, and then I would now play Dolly House with their brother or their cousin, which one of them was available to play at the time. Yeah, so which one of them was available to play at the time. So either my friend's brother or my friend's cousin would be my buddy to play with in the Dolly House. Yeah. So here comes the hypocrisy. It was okay for me to play Dolly House in the presence of my cousins and my brother. But if I was to do something else that was outside of their presence, of course, they would inform to my guardian on me. But because this was a Dolly House and we were playing it together, but the Dolly House aspect, they kept a secret because of course they were involved in it because they were playing it with my friends at the time. So evidently it's because they knew if they should inform or snitch on me, then I would have snitched on them. So they kept that aspect a secret. So we would always meet up at this abandoned building. So there was an abandoned building. We would always meet up. We would pretend that we were going to play at this old abandoned building. Or if our helper was not at the house, so our helper sometimes would have gone to get grocery shopping or whatever she went out to do at the time. And then of course our guardian was at work. So our guardian had to work every day if possible, except for Sundays, I think. When our helper and our guardian is not at the house, we would also bring them, so our neighbors, to the house as well, and then we would play Dolly House there. Anyways, even though we were trying to do adult activity, and I say trying because we had no clue of what we were doing, to be honest, at the same time. Basically, I was still innocent, and mind you, I was still 11 years of age. Yeah, I remember falling in love, or so I thought. That's what I thought. So I remember falling in love, and I thought that I was in love. But again, I have grown to understand that there is a thing called in love and going through infatuation. So yes, so I thought I was in love. And before my phone got confiscated, so before my phone got taken away from me by my guardian. So if you guys had watched the previous videos in volume 1, you would understand why my phone got confiscated. So if you want to get a clear understanding of what I'm on about, please revert to volume 2 parts 1 and 2, and then you will understand and you will keep up with the storyline basically. So I would always text him or he would text me, and when I had a time to text him as well, because remember I was still under the roof of my guardian, and at the end of the day I'm still a minor. You know how our phones get taken and get searched through by the adults basically. So yeah, I had to ensure that when I have that free space, that's how I was able to text him, even though he was still in the age bracket, but he was still 3 years older than I was. We were texting, we would call each other, until one day he said to me, I don't like you anymore. Yes. And he's also told me on top of that that he has a girlfriend and we could not speak anymore. Of course, now came the heartbreak. This was my first heartbreak that I ever experienced in my entire life, and kid you not, it was painful. And it was from a boy that was in my age group, right? So just to put emphasis on it, it was a boy that was in my age group. I remember it affecting me so much that I was crying and I just couldn't understand, like, why me? Like, I was asking the question, like, why me? Why it had to happen to me? Why these things that happened to me? Why these things, all of these things that was happening, the molestation, the physical abuse, the hurting that I was facing, I was wondering, why me? Like, I couldn't fathom, like, why these things was happening to me. But I just thought that, okay, it's just life and I'm just going through it. But everything was leading up to this point where you will start to get the understanding of what was happening in my life. I had to maintain my composure and pretended like I was okay, because remember, I'm living on the roof of my guardian and I'm a child, so I had to stay in a child's place. I couldn't exude any form of stress because I'm a child. Where stress come from? Well, that's what they thought at the time. And for disclaimer, children do experience stressful and traumatic situations, just to put that out there. Now back to the grown man story. So again, if you need to understand what grown man I'm talking about, revert back to volume 2, parts 1 and 2. I spoke about in the previous video. So I said before that this grown man had come to my house with my grand uncle. He was a workmate with my grand uncle, and my grand uncle would always come to look for us at the house, as family does. They would come, they would, try to see that we're okay. And then this grown man that came with him saw me and instantly liked me. And apparently he loved me. So I guess he fell in love with me as well. He knew my age. He knew that I was a child. He knew that I was a minor, but that did not stop him. But now the grown man told me that he loved me. So this grown man told me that he loved me. Remember, I'm still 11 years of age then. So I thought now that, okay, grown men must be better then, because I got heartbroken by somebody in my age group, right, at a very tender age. And then I have this grown man that is telling me that he loves me. So I thought there must be some truth to this, like grown man must love me. So now this further ignited my thirst, my wanting and desire for grown men. It did. But I was not realizing that this was the tactic and the play of the enemy. So what the enemy was doing, he was trying to condition my mind to think that, okay, grown men is better than boys in my age group. Because of course, I would always be seeking after grown men, even as a little child. Remember, I was sexually molested as a child from 4 years old. It was always from grown men. So now you see the pattern with the conditioning of the mind that the enemy done, right? Condition my mind to think, okay, grown men are better. Yes, this is what I need. This is what I should go for. And I thought that that was it. The first grown man outside of my family to tell me, okay, he loved me, was a complete stranger. That was a grown man. That probably could have been my father at the time. So what made me realize now all this is my walk with Jesus. So me walking with Jesus has opened my mind, opened my heart, and opened my eyes to see that this was the tactic of the enemy from when I was younger. But God was keeping me through it all. And it was the grace and the mercy of God that kept me through it all. And as you guys come with me on this journey, you guys will start to see the unfolding of how God indeed elevated my life. You will see and you will understand. So stay tuned for volume 3, part 1. Thank you.